Welcome to World Spa and Wellness lunchtime sessions. And I'm here with Jean-Guy de Gabriac and the superlative Paul Hawco of Dusa International. Paul speaking with us in London in just a few weeks' time. And the topic we're talking about is running a business in the post-pandemic world. Paul, share some learnings. What have you learned and from the pandemic, and what is coming in place now in your operations?
Hello, Mark. Hello, Jean-Guy. Hello, everybody. Sawasdee Krap from Thailand, Bangkok. It's far from 3 o'clock for me. It's 8 p.m. on a Friday night, but happy to join you for sure. And then, of course, in the near future. Wow, what a loaded question, Mark. Well, you know, we have been as busy as anybody, I'm sure, and appreciate everybody's, what we've been through and still going through in the last 2 years. And I think the biggest thing for me, the biggest thing for us in the midst of it, we created an entire wellness concept, right? So that's been done in the first, I guess, the last year or so, and now we're rebranding and we're pushing it out, repositioning our spas to more of a wellness entity, wellness operations. And Dusit had a very, very clean, very, very well organized spa brand, recognized as well, and I appreciate. But we had a lot of work to do to uplift to a wellness entity. So we came up with an entire brand, and the brand that we actually, and the concept we came up with was born of COVID, actually born of pandemic. Early days, it was born of the need to solve the modern day problem of, high levels of stress, unrest, unprocessed emotions, accelerated lifestyles, hyper-connected populations and societies, with the ancient solution being easy for Thailand. Traditional Thai healing, modalities, nutrition, mindfulness, Buddhist kind of spiritual influence with the subconscious and the meditation, nutrition, and Thai traditional herbal medicine as well. We lean into that. And that concept is based on a deceleration methodology. So we put a methodology in there, like a Shaw or a Lafay, or somebody is hiring the groups to give us more, I guess, credibility versus more of a, I guess you can say, a pragmatic approach to what we're doing. And the tenets of that methodology are pause, focus, and growth. Pause being, as you can imagine, you can probably place yourself in each one, mindfulness, emotional detachment, emotional resilience, with the undercurrents and modalities of meditation, mindfulness, energy work, breath work, and just slowing down and taking time to process and to regroup. Focus being more about the physicality, fitness, physical vitality, the movement, discipline, like stretching, and also aesthetically. So looking good and feeling good, and anti-aging and skin health. And nutrition. Nutrition is part of that pillar. And then growth being the longer duration programs, multi-day workshops, retreats, and the relationship we would have with our guests as they engage with us afterwards as well. So it's a community approach or appeal. And so that's how we kind of set up our concept. But really the overriding message that I would have, we can do lots of nuggets and pieces and parts, but for me, and I haven't yet read enough about it, and I'm hoping it can become something that becomes, I know Jean-Guy has touched on it before, I know Goko and a few others who are a bit more, I guess, internationally exposed to reading as much material as they can, is that as we move from spa, which is highly siloed, we know spa is a place and a lot of great things happen there. It's not a bad word anymore by any means, but wellness being an active pursuit and everyone's on a journey, that it's moved from, I guess you can say, the more simplistic area to a democratized approach. So really, I feel, if you want to use the terms, I guess the way I kind of look at it is, we well know primary wellness travelers, we work with those, and we know secondary wellness travelers, and now with those. All guests are wellness travelers now. I don't think there's a percentage that aren't. They're on different levels, or obviously on a journey that might be different for every guest, every hotel operator. So it depends on where you sit in those dimensions. Then that wellness concept or approach will certainly look different for you. I can certainly share and will in London what we do and what we're doing, what's important to us. But I think that it's a shared value that all guests have. So for me, if you can picture that everybody, even just before post, the pandemic, but certainly in it and certainly after, before the pandemic, 84% of guests were looking for, a more interested in wellness and sustainability initiatives and regenerative travel, and mental health being the biggest dimension now for as the sectors are concerned. that there's no guest that's coming to our properties without some kind of stress level, without some kind of anxiety, and to come, I guess, and approach our guests that they're all coming with a need for wellness is how we've leveled the playing field as far as what we're doing in our concept. So I think that's one of the most important messages that I would have, that there's a responsibility we have as operators to realize that when the guests are living this way at home in their daily life and getting educated and learning about things, why would they stop when they go to a resort or a hotel? And certainly, why wouldn't they be attracted to a place that's going to even actually be offering something a little bit above what they have? So that's the expectation. I guess the analogy sometimes I've been in hotels for 25 years, there used to be a TV expectation, and then that grew to it, you'd have a better TV than you would at home. So why would you expect to go to a hotel and not have a better programming or a better approach and more expertise than you would in your own, even where you are, where you move and travel? So I guess for me, getting away from using terms like enticing, capturing, and attracting, and more about inspiring, educating, and influencing our guests. That's the kind of the components that we work.
You told me before our live conversation now that you spent some time in Phuket. And one of the things that you were doing there, and I think across the group, is you're collaborating with local people, local suppliers of therapies. Tell us a little bit about that.
So the concept, the first page when I do this deck with new GMs or new properties or whatever the audience is, sales and marketing VPs, it's called Beyond the Spa. So, somebody asked me how many hotels am I responsible for wellness? I say all of them, every single one of them. And that means different things at different properties, and we can get into that. There's examples of what we do with guest touch points and micro moments and daily rituals and creating intentional habits and so forth. So beyond the menu and beyond the commercialized approach as far as the treatments and the experience for that the guests would go and have. But obviously, I think everybody in this call would say that manning is not easy. Our team's been decimated. We're trying to rebuild them, obviously, and grow them, and that's the intention. It's a good day anytime we get to hire or promote. But in the interim and in the meantime, what we've done, because we've been lacking, even if it's not a matter of manning or not having full staffing at the moment, or being able to get back to full staff, we just don't always have the expertise. And as a business model, we always can't afford. We're not always able to do that. So we've gone out, instead of the older model that used to be more about the primary, I guess, wellness operations with the visiting practitioner program, which I've been well aware of, and I've been a part of that for years as well. What we've called is a resident practitioner program. So we brought in and we vetted and we met them, we know them well, we use them. And so what we do is we have them as part of our programming. So for example, if you went to our Dusitani Laguna Phuket, as that's where I was for quite a while, website, you went to experience page, and you went into mind and body section, half of that is done by resident practitioners. So the guest doesn't know that. So it's beyond, I guess you can say, we have a good relationship with them. It has to be seamless and has to be well coordinated, but we're able to offer a elevated level of modality, expertise, international guru level practitioners that would be working at the top end resorts and programmings to our guests if they should want that. But what we've done further is, for example, at a property where we have a strong physical vitality and movement team, where we've leveraged and still trained and executed, but not a mindfulness, pause, meditation, and emotional detachment team, we've actually brought in and we've kind of filled that pie with that practitioner. So now in Phuket, where we have no spa, actually, it's contracted out. We don't run the spa there. I offer sound bath, I offer Reiki, I offer health coaching, I offer nutritional coaching. We have sound bath, we have yoga, we have Muay Thai, we have physical movement classes and HIIT classes. And we have no spa there. So it's good for them, obviously, because they get busy, they get better well known. We use them for events, we use them for retreats, we use them for trainings. So
and you've had no problem with quality of the delivery of the service. You've not had because they're not. It's been seamless in that.
I vet them. I call them. I meet them. You would know the names of them, I'm sure. And we also use them for training, so they know the team. So when they're there for a retreat or an activity, we also use them to train the team. So we have a practitioner going to Hua Hin for acro yoga and for sound bath classes in early April. She's also staying one day and training the team. So I'm always about my team. I always want to uplift them, and we get a very good deal, as you can imagine, for that. Right? So Global Wellness Day and World Wellness Weekend, we're able to have a sense of community around them, and our team knows them, and so they're like an extended employee, but they're not on our payroll.
No, and it's great that you've offered a more curated service, a wider service, with
And that's the other point you actually mentioned. It's very important because as we found guests coming back, at least through our Thailand properties, very specific what they want. It's no longer like a silo, compartmentalized, nice and tidy retreat or program. They want a little bit of this, a little bit of that, somatic dancing or certain food or excursions. And so we're able to better meet and exceed their needs through this vehicle, right? So, yeah.
No, excellent.
Yeah, I think the important thing is, what we've done and what we've learned is and it's also the challenge, to continue it as we go forward, not to consider this to be a Band-Aid, but, embrace these types of new ways of doing business and take the momentum and grow it and go forward, right? So, yeah.
And how have you found the mix of clientele? I presume that you've had far more. How have you reached out to the locals?
Well, domestic still, right? I mean, during the sandbox in Phuket still, and in Hua Hin a little bit, in Bangkok, still international. We see them coming, and they're good guests. They spend and they enjoy themselves. And really, hotels have become, from my experience, an extension of their life. Like they come in, they meet with us, and they feel like this is their home, and it is, right? For 2 weeks or a week with these longer guest stays. And so that's where the curation comes. We meet them all the time and we have a chat with them. We check in with them to make sure they're okay, but obviously still heavily Thai and but there's a lot of, although we say domestic, it doesn't mean it's all Thai. But what we've done for the Thai audience actually is a lot of family retreats. So we do very accessible wellness. So, I mean, I'll get into the further details about our concept and hopefully you can help others. When I say democratized wellness, what that looks like in an operation or for across a hotel group. Yeah, so we do it that way. Yeah.
And what about price? Have you had to adjust price? What have you done on that still?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we have. We still have our menu prices. The sticker price, the sell. It's not the sell price, but not the average rate, right? Okay. There's conversations around obviously upgrades and things like that. We do in the treatments as well. We do all those. But for example, for menus, if you want to touch on that. It hasn't been easy, and I spoke about this in the last conference that we really just want to have a guest be with us. So we don't want price to be an invitation to that, right? So, but we do a lot of passive promotions now through the concept that we've done. We have our logo in a lot of places. We have a lot of concepts in place that are not flyers, not promotional, not commercialized, which really helps uplift our capture as far as what we do on the property. And we still do offer some promotions for the guests, but it's about getting them back the second time, capturing the first time really. Right? So yeah.
Okay, Jean-Guy, I've ignored you completely.
Jean-Guy,
it's okay. This is what I love about the conversations we're having at the World Spa and Wellness Convention, and for the past 8 years that you trusted me, Mark, to recommend, suggest speakers, all cherry-picked. Paul has been one of the professionals who came and spoke the most. And the first time he spoke is when
you say that to all the boys, John.
No.
All the boys.
No.
I know. I listen. I hear everything. I'll watch all this to you.
No.
We love you, Paul. You're the best.
I never turn down speaking. It's too much to share. And too much. I never turn down speaking ever.
And the first time Paul spoke, it was about sustainability. He said, "I have so many other things that I can discuss. Why would you want me to discuss about sustainability?" Because Jumeirah was starting in this process, and if someone, especially the UAE, does something, I mean, it's worth watching because they don't have an issue with.
That was a tough one.
It was a tough one, and he nailed it perfectly. The audience was riveted, and he came twice after that. And again, he's behind the screen, but his energy is palpable and very eloquent, very precise. I have this question for you, Paul, because you said Devarana is about beyond spa, and not all hotels have spas, and that should not stop them in delivering an elevated experience, in educating, inspiring, empowering with wellness. What are you implementing in your hotels that do not have a spa?
Yeah, so I have to say, Dusit has been very gracious. Obviously, gracious is one of our pillars, and well-being is actually a new pillar of Dusit. So from the CEO's level, it's been added. So that means that it's ingrained in everything that we do as a culture, which really helps. And that's a dream for any director level, let alone corporate-wise, right? But when I say wellness with Dusit is not just about a time-bound experience or service, we say it's integrated across your guest experience. And so, I mean, I can get into it. We have 4 main touch points. So what I did was I thought about, as far as like a new KPI, is the guest sentiment. So if I was able to stand at the departure of every guest and ask them how they felt, and then maybe the hotel that's a competitive set with us and ask them how they felt, I would hope that when they leave my hotel, they felt, it was more relationship hospitality. There was something more about wellness. I felt better. I felt happier. I felt in a better mood. I felt de-stressed without going to the spa. That would be the mission. So we came up with implementations across the main guest touch points. So at arrival, we have a well-being travel journey. I'll show it in the conference, but that's nicely done with Thai herbal oils and a little dropper. And so the guest gets to choose which aspiration they want to have. And it ties back to the pause element, where they put the dropper of oil onto their pulse point, rub it, and just take a deep breath. So just a micro moment, we call them, but the micro moments add up to be a little bit transformational. I have another example. There's two others. I can't get into them all, but this is another one that we do. I think I have a little show and tell. So this is a turn down card. So we put this on every guest's bed the first night of their stay. Teachings for an enriched life, and then we have a little message for them. That's a little card, Thai, Arabic, English. It can be whatever you want to have. That's just a little subconscious message. Maybe it's a groundbreaking. Somebody keeps it and puts it in their book. Maybe somebody doesn't care, but for the most part, they would see that we think it's important. It's thoughtful, it's generous, and a little bit. I guess our concept is inspiring. We're not dictating. We're just trying to put things in your way to make you think a little bit differently, feel a little bit differently. And for us, it's a responsibility. It's a shared value for people, and so we want to make sure we're in that space.
Paul, when you were in the UAE, when you were in Dubai, and you were overseeing so many spas, so many developments, there was one thing that really touched me, is how much you cared for your team, your teams, actually, how much you care for each people to make sure that they had a possible career evolution. Now, with the CEO of Dusit saying well-being is ingrained in our DNA, whether you go to the spa or not, you will have that. How does that play out for the team back of house?
What we do, so I guess you can say in a way, my team also is expanded to everybody, right? Corporate, and what I say sometimes is that corporate office, where obviously corporate offices have hundreds of people, there's not one person in that department, that division, who hasn't said wellness, hasn't played a part in what we've been doing, hasn't contributed, suggested, or flat out really contributed, to branding, creative strategy, technical services. Now we're getting into, I'm losing your question now, but in design. So we're designing spaces that no one's ever designed what we're doing now. I can share that too in the future, and that's quite exciting. But it's easy in Thailand, and because all of our spas actually specific up, they all have Thai representation and they all have a Thai manager. Every one of our operations globally. So our DNA is ingrained, and that's gracious hospitality. They're so nice to work with, and it makes it so easy. It's so rewarding. And we were just able to promote somebody who's been working as assistant manager for like 6 years. She starts in 15. We promoted her to a wellness director. So those are the best times. We look inward, and we move forward with our team, and they make all the difference. It's obviously, it doesn't matter if you're Amman, Rosewood, Dusit, Six Senses. It's about the people. It's the connection you have with your people, and then they have what they have with their teams. You can be an outside on the beach cabana massage. It doesn't really matter. It's about that human, right? Yeah.
Paul, Jean-Guy, we were going to be 15 minutes. We're now 20. I think we're going to wrap it up there. Ladies and gentlemen, World Spa and Wellness Convention is the 3rd and 4th of April in London. WorldSpaWellness.com if you want to find out more. Jean-Guy de Gabriac, Paul Hawco, thank you very much. See you very soon in London. All the best.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the support.
Thank you for coming.
Up and cut. Thank you so very much.
Up and cut. Thank you.